Jim, Gretchen Whitmer is going to cut $115 million from the state police force in Michigan. The mayor of New York wants to slash $1 billion from the NYPD, and then they have issues with FPS, with DHS units arresting leaders of rioting. What is the right thing, and why is there this insanity occurring in America right now?
Yeah. So first of all, I'll say, as a public policy analyst, right, many of these things are not fungible, right?
Oh, hang on, that's a DC word. Right. That is a very fancy.
In other words,
what is fungible?
It doesn't matter how many times you go to your dentist. If you have a heart disease, he cannot help you. right?
Dentists do dentist things.
That's right. And right. Doctors do doctor stuff, right? And so if the size of your police force is based on the public safety requirements of your community.
The mission, right?
And to arbitrarily say, oh, we'll just cut that and we'll buy more, healthcare workers or something. Fine, you'll get better healthcare, but your public safety is going to go down. We see this in the military all the time. Well, let's cut the defense budget and hire more diplomats. Well, I don't have a problem with diplomats. Diplomats are great. But you don't substitute one for the other, and you kind of actually need both to make it all work. It's like you make a cake, you can't substitute the butter for the eggs. It doesn't. It doesn't work that way. So these are obviously arbitrary cuts to please the mob, and we've talked about this. Is when you please a mob, all the mob will do is want more. I mean, look what happened to the mayor of Portland, who gave the mob everything they wanted in the streets, and then showed up and got jeered and yelled at.
And so talk to us about the utility or the efficacy or even the rightness of deploying federal assets to protect federal assets.
Yeah. So, well, obviously, that's what they're there for, to provide equality of opportunity, equality of treatment under the law and to protect federal property, and their jurisdiction is national. So, yes, of course, they're all over the country because their job is to protect federal property, which is all over the country. So there's absolutely, and we can go chapter, and Mark will, on why everything they're doing is perfectly appropriate. Here's the challenge, though, right? And maybe they can protect a courthouse here and there, but this only really works when the state and the federal and the local work together. I'll give you a good example because I was watching a documentary on this last night.
Because that's what he does when he's got time off. He watches documentaries about, state and local and federal working together.
Whitey Bulger, who ran
Boston
amok for 25 years in Boston, uncontrolled by anybody, murdering, killing, and everything else. Right? Departed, the movie that kind of loosely based on it. The reason why they never got Whitey Bulger was because you could never get the federal and the state and local guys to cooperate to go after the real bad guys. And, as much as this works best because there are organized, this is no longer about protests over
George Floyd
or anybody else. This is about active violence in the street to make the streets ungovernable. It's coordinated. There's logistics, everything else. These are people who are committing crimes because they're doing criminal acts. So they're guilty under the RICO clause of conspiracy to commit crimes. The way you break a RICO case, whether it's the mafia or anybody else, is the local, the federal, the state, they work together to take the really bad people off the streets, not the protesters.
No, they're not there to arrest random people, right? This is the ringleaders, the worst of the worst, those who are firebombing federal court buildings who have to be stopped. Right. Listen to this man. Follow him. Jay Carafano, Vice President at the Heritage Foundation, heritage.org. Truly one of the most significant organizations, not just in America, but is it 4 years in a row? Voted the most significant, the most influential think tank in the world. Become a member today.